Sure.
All right, so I got Jeff Dykstra here from Steinbach, Manitoba. Been a remote client of mine for the last, we figured it out, he's done 83 workouts since December
Yeah.
of 2019. I'm going to give him a little chance to introduce himself to you guys, and then we're going to have a conversation, and it's going to be a good time. So, Jeff, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, family, kids, all that fun stuff.
Sure. Yeah, I'll start. There's a couple of maybe interesting things. I come from a very large family. I had 8 sisters and 1 brother. I grew up on a dairy farm in Manitoba, and have always been pretty active, I would say.
Yeah.
We went through periods of times where I played a lot of hockey, did some other stuff. But I got, I guess, back in 1980, I married my wife, Pam. And we spent some years together trying to figure out what that all meant. We were both quite young. My wife, Pam, was 17 when we got married, actually.
Great.
So
you've been married for 40 years.
So we started off, 40 years. Yeah. And every day feels like a new day and a good day. So It's not been 40 years of 40 years. It's been 40 great years. We have a daughter, Caitlin.
Is Pam poking you in the stomach with a gun right now, or what?
No, certainly not. But we were very lucky to have a daughter, Caitlin, when in 1985, and then she was born prematurely, and we had some complications and some things to work out, but very, very lucky to have her. So we've spent a lot of time. I spent a lot of time with Kate. Once we got things a little bit stable, we ended up moving a lot. I was working for Cargill at the time. I started when I was 16, so I never did finish high school. High school didn't do much for me, I felt. So I started working when I was 16 off of the farm, and kept kind of progressing. I like people.
Yeah.
I liked working with people, leading teams of people. It became kind of a natural thing for me. So we moved a lot through Canada, and eventually got to the point where I took an assignment in Mexico, spent a few weeks in Mexico starting up a feed mill there, and then came back and was offered this opportunity to go to Vietnam.
Right.
So we moved there in 95. I started working in Vietnam, 2 years there. And then after that project was up and running, we transitioned and I moved to Malaysia. Spent the better part of a year in Malaysia. Back to Canada after Malaysia. But once you start living internationally, it's kind of hard to just fall back into your place the way you were.
Right.
So we had another opportunity, moved to Switzerland. Cargill bought a feed business in Switzerland. In 2002, moved there. Spent 5 years there, and then moved from Switzerland to the Netherlands.
Wow.
Spent 3 years, which was home. Actually, My parents are from the Netherlands, so is Pam's parents.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of fun to live in a country where your parents were from.
Yeah. Did you have any family out there or anything?
Yeah, lots of family.
Yeah.
Cousins and uncles and aunts. And
yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. And then we moved to Minneapolis. We spent the better part of a year in Minneapolis. And then this opportunity came along with HiPro, and I left Cargill at that point, bought into the business that we started.
Yeah.
And then 5 years later, we sold that business, HiPro Feeds. And I had a chance to work for 1 year with the new company.
Right.
It was a condition of the sale, actually.
Okay.
But after the 1 year was up, I realized that retirement would have been a better option than continue to work for somebody else.
Yeah. And do you still do a little bit of work is that with them, or?
No, during my years with Cargill, I ended up doing some consulting work.
Okay.
It was a business that we had developed inside of the company, and I had a chance to sell some of that business.
Right.
We did a lot. I did a lot of work in Russia. I spent a lot of time in Russia, actually. And then I met a client and started working with them in Saudi Arabia. And so when I announced my retirement, they heard about that and they offered me a job to come and move there. But I said, I'm not interested in moving anymore. So I work with them. I visit Saudi Arabia once or twice a year, every 6 months or so, spend 2 to 3 weeks. As a matter of fact, I was supposed to go in March the 8th. I was supposed to.
Remember that.
Yeah, I canceled that trip, or postponed it.
Did you postpone it because of this stuff?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
couldn't remember if it was a coincidence or you just knew the world was going mad. And,
No, we read the bit of the writing on the wall and
yeah.
decided to postpone that.
Yeah. Well, it was good timing because the last thing you needed was being stuck over there.
I wouldn't have got home, as a matter of fact, because
Right.
they stopped international flights. I would have been stuck
Yeah.
in Saudi Arabia.
Hanging out with camels.
Yeah. Camel's a nice animal, by the way.
That picture you sent, that was in Saudi, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. Saudi Arabia's got to be quite interesting, right? Like I was able to live and work in Kuwait City for a while, and just a Muslim country, Arabic country. It's quite different, but Saudi Arabia is extreme.
Yeah.
Did you find it quite different?
It's totally different, but like we've lived in a lot of different places, and what you find, Nathan, is that it really doesn't matter whether people speak Arabic or French or Dutch or German or French or English. People are all the same. Yeah. They all get up in the morning. They try to do the best they can for their families. They may have some different things that they do during the day. In Saudi,
different cultural routines and stuff. Yeah,
exactly. But other than that, it looks quite the same. And when you get inside of a feed mill, they all look the same. It doesn't matter which country they are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and you've been in a few of those over the years.
Yeah, hundreds. Yeah.
Exactly. So we kind of went through. You're retired right now. Your day in the life of Jeff is fitness, grandkids, wife, coaching hockey prior to this, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And coaching CrossFit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you're coaching at CrossFit Steinbach as well. So what we could do is we could talk about a little bit of, and you gave us a good background on who you are and what you've done in your life, and I find that super interesting. I think working internationally is super cool. You've obviously had some crazy experiences and met a lot of people over the years, so I appreciate you sharing that with us. We can kind of talk a little bit about fitness. Me and you started working together in December. I guess you could tell our audience a little bit about what your fitness goals are, and me and you are continually talk about those, but if you tell the audience what they are, that'd be good.
Sure. Yeah. Like I said, when I started with CrossFit, Pam actually got me into it. She had started before I did.
Okay.
And that's kind of how we got started. And the thing about that I really liked about CrossFit is it kind of ties in nicely with my goals, because it gives me a chance to kind of work towards improving the things that I myself would like to improve. So it's not really about competitions. I have attended a few different competitions. I was in the Dakota Games last September. So it's not really about competing against others and trying to, take home prizes, trophies, or whatever. It's really much more about, if I could row 500 meters in a minute and 40 seconds, then I should be able to row 500 meters in a minute and 38 seconds next time.
Yeah.
So it's about that continuous improvement and really being able to, focus on things like technique, speed, endurance, and what you said, Nathan, is, keep the engine running and getting it to run better. Exactly. Which is really, really the big focus for me.
That self-improvement is something, me and you talk about. I talk about this to our audience and our clients all the time. Those, when we talk to clients about competing in things, like we straight up tell people that we're not a gym that worries about competing. Mm-hmm. What we like to have people view competing as is just like an expression of their hard work. Because what really matters is the day-to-day, the wake up, the eat the breakfast, the go to work, have your, send your kids to daycare, all that discipline, right? And then when you get to the gym, it's like, okay, I'm in this gym. I'm going to try to make myself better for the day, right? And if you can do that every day, it's crazy what you can accomplish with a good coach or a good program. You're not just doing random stuff. You make sure you have your lifestyle in order. But like you just said it, to be motivated to row the 500 meters faster next time, or the test that you did last week with the burpees, it's like, okay, I wasted less time getting on the row, or I was breathing heavy, but it didn't matter. That's way more motivating than worrying about beating somebody,
Right.
If you're the best person in the world at something and you're making a lot of money, that's pretty motivating, right? But that's also not a forever thing.
No.
Right? Like every athlete or high level competitor has a shelf life,
Yeah.
but there's no shelf life to self-improvement. And then eventually what you have to do is twist and have a different outlook on what's self-improvement, right? So for me, it's an example like 7 years ago, self-improvement was always lifting way more weight, you know? And then I realized like, okay, I'm like 30 years old. Um, I have a lot of stressors in my life. I'm busy as hell. I'm not going to add 20 more pounds to these lifts in the next 5 years. Like you just have to be honest with yourself. But
Mhm.
I can put my energy and my heart and soul into improving at overall fitness, keep my strength. And like I said, I've been adding 5 pounds a year or whatever it is for the last, or 5 pounds every 4 years, it seems like. But the overall improvement in things like you just said, like rowing, efficiency in movement, getting faster, understanding pacing, feeling more confident in my own body, you know,
Mhm.
those
Yeah.
are like things that, like you said, it's hard to write those on paper and advertise them, but that keeps you training for years, you know,
Totally.
instead of
Yeah.
just doing these 6 week challenges and switching up the goal and right. It's
Yeah.
like 2 years from now, Jeff, I would love for you to be able to tell people, what program are you doing? The same thing I've always been doing. That's a good program,
Yeah.
right? Like, and that's something that I've been evolving and helping my coaches evolve forever. It's like we want to make sure that we take a client year zero, and a lot of people can nod their head at this and give us the thumbs up. Year zero, year five, and now we have some people in year 7. They are still doing this,
Yeah.
still getting better, right? I don't care where you look. Good luck trying to find something like that,
Yeah.
because
Totally.
there's a lot of trust and emotional baggage that comes with that, right? Like there's going to be times where my grandma's sick, and oh, my wife lost her job, and I had a baby, and coronavirus, and right. But if we can keep moving the needle, right? That's the whole purpose. That's the whole goal. And then along the
Totally.
way, like you said, oh, Dakota Games, sweet. I'm motivated by that for 3 to 6 months, right? Nothing really changes. It's just you as a person change your
Yeah.
mindset, right? We have tons of clients that are moms and dads, but every once in a while they'll sign up for a competition at Prairie CrossFit. It makes them like really motivated, right? They do 5 training sessions a week. They don't miss that Friday night workout at the gym, and right, like those things are important too, right? Or
Yeah.
makes them eat better, whatever, right?
Well, and I think it helps. The other thing that it helped me with too, Nathan, was it helped kind of quantify, kind of, draw a line under where you were at that moment,
Yeah,
so that it helped me. I mean, I knew things that I needed to do better, obviously. I mean, I could make a long list of what those were and what they still are.
yeah,
But when you go to a competition, you have a chance to actually see others that are similar to you because, of course, you're in the same age group.
yeah.
Uh, so it kind of helps,
20,
it kind of
25 and
helps.
under, 25 and
Yeah,
under.
yeah, exactly. It helps kind of, validate the work that you've been doing and where you're at. And actually, I use that more. To be
Yeah,
honest with you, I came back from the Dakota Games. I did well,
yeah.
but I came back from the Dakota Games looking for ways to take the training to another level because, going
Get
4 or
motivated by
5.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You kind of see like, if you don't win, right? So someone's better than you. You kind of see, well, that guy's same age as me, you know, um, kind of what's possible, right?
Yeah,
What you're
totally.
capable of, for sure. That's good. You have the right mindset. That's it's the right mindset to keep improving. Yeah.
Yeah,
And along the way, you understand like every day that you get in the gym is a good day. Like that's just kind of it. Like you woke up today, you have the financial freedom to do this stuff, you have the health to do this stuff, you have a roof over your head. It's like, man, I get to improve at something. My
yeah.
stressors really aren't that big of a deal, you know?
Nope.
And everybody listening to this, if you're listening to this, 100% the truth for you too, right? Like everybody's situation is a little different, but it's not. Like, we're all able to improve at something. And it's just
Yeah.
cool that, you know, like for me and you, we work remotely. I can support you, but you have a big support system at home and your gym. And our clients have a big support system within our community, but also their husbands and wives and their kids and their families, right? So it's pretty cool, for sure.
Yep.
What do you love about this fitness stuff? And I think we kind of touched on it. It's like, we definitely just touched on it, but if you have anything to add to that.
No, I think it's pretty much like I said, Nathan. I mean, the opportunity to kind of see every day, you know, the things, I mean, getting the programming a week in advance and then kind of imagining what it's going to look like and feel like on the day of the programming, and then being able to push through it.
Yeah.
And reading it on Saturday night and actually, you know,
you
knowing it.
Read it on Saturday night. You're just like waiting. You're just waiting. Come on, baby.
Yes, it's true. Actually,
let's get these shoulders going.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. But it's just, it's fun to, you know, to look at it and, you know, realize if I would have looked at that programming that I'm doing, like what I did today, for example, if I had looked at that in December, I couldn't do some of this stuff in December. And,
hey,
that's
what do we do? Like 40 or 50 handstand push-ups?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
That was the most you've ever done.
Yeah, no, I couldn't hardly do a handstand period in December. So
yeah, the last training cycle on the last Sunday, we accumulated, I think, 50 reps, right?
40 reps.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so good. And you're 59 or 60?
59. I'll be 60 in June.
59 years old, 40 handstand push-ups.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it.
Yeah.
That's good. So good. So me and you have definitely outlined and defined your priorities. We talk about your gymnastics and your thoracic spine. We're trying to improve your overhead squat, but like, what do you feel like you're improving the most at right now? Probably, you know,
I would say the overhead, my overhead work has improved a lot, but I would say by far the two things that I've noticed the most, one is the ability to do a handstand push-up, which I couldn't. So that's a real reflection of you know, of the strength and the endurance that I built up. But I think probably as much as anything is it's not even so much about the strength, it's the endurance that I have to complete some of the work.
Exactly.
So, you know, the ability to do, like last week, the 10 rounds of row 500 meters and 15 burpees.
Yeah.
And to do that faster than I did in December.
By over a minute, I think, right? Or almost?
Yeah, almost 2 minutes. But the ability to go through it and know that after each round that I didn't actually have to, you know, collapse and lay on the floor for a minute and a half before I could start the next round. Exactly. I carried through the whole way. I never stopped.
Yeah.
I slowed down, unfortunately, in some areas, but I mean, but the ability to continue working has changed a lot for me.
Yeah, exactly. So that's like
the engine's better.
The engine, the aerobic capacity, the stuff that a lot of people aren't, it's not that appealing. It's not that fun to do. And we talked about it before. It's not that fun to do. And as soon as you say it's not that fun to do, you're automatically not going to do good at it. Mm-hmm. As soon as your mind's defeated and you have that bad mindset and relationship with it, like if you've seen that 10 rounds for time and you're just like, right? And it's like, nope. Well, you would have been 4 minutes slower. And it's not like the workout got any harder. It's just you didn't want to do it any faster. Like you weren't motivated to do it. Right?
That's right.
And I try to talk to a lot of our clients about that. It's like, try to have a better relationship with it. Quit saying you hate this or love this, right? Just find ways to be your best at this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So if you aren't great at burpees, quit saying you hate them. Get your ass down there and get your ass up there and find ways to be okay with it. Because as soon as you get down there and you're like, I dread every rep, it's way worse. Like it's way more painful too, right?
Yeah.
Like it just
totally
automatically feels harder for you, right?
Yeah.
This is something my coach is big on right now, and me and him just chatted last night, and he's sending me, I'm going to send you, Jeff, a ton of motivation versus perceived effort. You're going to love this, and we could get down a deep rabbit hole. This is probably his biggest study on how, you know, training, like the map work that all you guys do listening to this, the whole point of that is to get comfortable with scenarios so that when there's another scenario comes up, you remember what it feels like. So 10 bar facing burpees. Okay. Automatically, Jeff, how long is 10 bar facing burpees going to take you? You probably know.
Yeah.
A sustainable pace for you.
Now it's, yeah. I mean, if you're asking, it's probably 50 seconds or so.
Exactly.
40,
so that's good because you automatically know what that's going to feel like. You know how your breathing's going to feel. You know kind of what's going to go through your head when it starts to get hard at rep 5 or 6. So you already know. So you're motivated enough to just like create that as a perceived effort and be able to do it in 50 seconds. But with self-improvement, can I do it in 45? Can I do it in 43? Can I somehow do those faster, right? I'm going to send you some stuff on that. Super interesting. There's a deep rabbit hole you can go down it. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. You love these aerobic grinders. It seems like you have a good relationship with it.
Yeah.
Work hard at it. What do you tell yourself before, after, during to keep motivated during that stuff? And maybe we've touched on it a bit, but
one of the things that I don't do is I don't think of like the 10 round example. I don't think about the fact that it's 150 burpees. I don't put that in my brain as I got to complete 150 burpees. What I get into the rounds and I start thinking about finding a pace that's comfortable, having that experience to know what I did last time and to be able to say, I'm actually going to pace it slightly faster, or this is the area that I'm going to work on. So I'm going to look at the clock when I start my burpees because I want to see myself knock off the 15 burpees in a minute and 5 seconds versus, a minute and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
So I think about like small targets throughout the goal of the whole workout. Yeah. And continue to work on those. And so, by the midway point, as soon as you cross half, you know that the second half gets easier, right? Yeah. It's the first half that always gets you in trouble. Yeah. So as soon as you can get to the halfway point, and you can say, hey, I'm at this pace, and if I double that, I'm not where I need to be. You know that you got to pick it up again in the second. But all those benchmarks is kind of where I do a lot of math in my. Exactly.
You create little accountability metrics, right? Yeah. That leads to motivation, right? Yeah. That holds you accountable to keep going. Yeah. Right. This is why, like some of my remote clients, the biggest challenge sometimes with a newer person, not much experience with training, is I'm like, what was your results on the 60 seconds of work? Okay. Oh, I don't even know. Do you see what I mean? They're not paying attention. They're just kind of going through the motions. So they're limiting themselves down the road and in that moment, because the whole point of it is to create these scenarios so that you can create intent and motivation to improve at something, right? Totally. So for me, if I see 60 seconds of burpees in 1 minute of rest, 1 minute of work, I know I could do 20. Okay. And I know what that feels like, but that's like more of an all out hard effort. So if 20 burpees come up in a 5-round workout, I use that 60 seconds of work as experience, and I automatically pace 20 burpees in a 5-round workout for like a minute 15. I slow down a bit purposely, right? And then if I have enough juice in the tank and enough motivation on that 5th round, I know I can do 20 in a minute. I know I can, and I will, right? But I can't try to do them a minute 5 times with no rest, right? This is just an example, right? Yeah. Okay, so what are you, we talk about fitness all the time, and sometimes our audience, we all need to probably get away from worrying about the gym and stuff sometimes. I mean, right now, fitness is what's kind of keeping us all together, I would say, from a community standpoint. But outside of fitness, what do you do other than stretch those shoulders?
I do spend a lot of time on mobility. I mean, normally at this time of the year we'd be finished hockey, but I coach 2 hockey teams during this past winter. My one grandson who was in novice, and then my other grandson who's in bantam age. Yeah. So we coached with these guys. I really like cooking, so we spend Pam and I both enjoy cooking. So awesome. It's never a problem to get something to eat here. But we I would say that we stay busy with there's a lot of work that we do with helping others. I mean, Pam's mom is now she's 85 and lives in a place where she needs a little bit of help. So we tend to do these things, and really spend a lot of time with our kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Simple, effective life.
Yes. Yeah. Not complicated anymore. I used to spend so much time in an airplane. I don't like to do that as much as possible.
You're traveling for sure. You work out in the mornings primarily, Jeff?
Primarily, yeah. I set a schedule. I think about the gym like I would think about it. It's too hard for me to just kind of randomly decide, I feel like going, so I'm going to go now. I basically, when the gym was open prior to COVID, I would get up at 6.
Yeah.
And then I'd be in the gym and ready to work by 7:30. Here at home, I'm not quite that early, but basically, the garage lights go on at 8:30, 8:40. And by 9 o'clock, I'm well into my warm up, and by 9:30, I'm ready to start my work. So.
And then by 2 p.m. you're done.
Yes, exactly.
So you're a coach, you are a motivator, you help people with their technique. You definitely see newbies, see some people that have experience and they're at a higher level with their fitness.
Yeah.
With a newbie coming in, maybe whether it's COVID-19 scenario right now, they're at home, or they're thinking about starting at the gym when life gets back to normal, or they're looking for something to do. What would you tell them? What would be some words of advice if they're maybe a little bit on the fence or nervous? So you got to remember, most people starting out in a gym setting are a little bit worried about, I don't want to look silly. I'm not sure I have it in me. The list goes on and on, right?
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
That I think the thing that I would say to everyone is, whatever you do, don't wait. I mean, every day you wait is a day wasted. If you would have started practicing pull-ups on the very first day that you said you were going to start practicing pull-ups, you'd probably be doing them by now, as opposed to delaying 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, 4 months, and then saying now's the time to start. I started this. I mean, I've always done things. I played hockey, I cycled, so I always was active. But we talk about it often. If I could have started CrossFit even if I was 30, 25 years ago, would have made a significant difference on the things that I'd be able to do, because the technique stuff is what's hard.
Yeah.
And the greatest thing about CrossFit that I think I probably would endorse is that you're going to find something that you're relatively good at.
Yeah.
Everybody does. I mean, some people automatically pick up a skipping rope and they can skip.
Yeah, exactly.
And they may not ever be able to do a pull-up, but they can skip.
Yeah.
And I think that'd be the thing I would say, Nathan, to people is don't wait.
Yeah.
I said this to guys that I've talked with that are my age, who said, well, I'm a little busy now. I don't, maybe. And I said, no, I agree with you. I said, I'd wait till you're 65. Wait till you retire, and then try to pick it up and get started.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
People just have to get over the fact that they have stuff to do. They have their starting point. I mean, find a good coach, find a good program that should reflect where you're at. You can't be a newbie and start where you are right now. And they just have to understand that, and someone has to help them with that. And they just have to start,
They got to start. And I think too, Nathan, the important thing is that you got to make it important. So
it's got to be a priority.
It's about prioritization.
Exactly.
If watching a program on TV is something you create time for, then you can absolutely create time to get fit.
Yeah.
Yeah.